Hi everyone. Today I'm going to summarize three key ideas that shape how we understand teaching and learning in a culturally diverse classroom. The first is going to be Mo's Funds of Knowledge. The second will be Sonia Nieto's work on racism, discrimination, and expectations. And the third is going to be the connection between culture and language learning. I'll also integrate insights from Louise Moll's own explanation of the funds of knowledge concept. So we're going to begin with Moll's funds of knowledge. He describes funds of knowledge as the rich knowledge base that families develop through their everyday lives, especially through their work, social practices, and cultural histories. In the transcript, he explains that researchers actually visit households and position themselves as learners rather than just the teachers. The goal to that is to document the meaningful skills, strategies, and cultural practices that families use to navigate in everyday life. This approach reveals that families, particularly through those from the working class, immigrants, or have multilingual backgrounds, possess deep expertise in areas such as problem solving, caregiving, multilingual communication, have some kind of a trade skill, and have cultural traditions that they follow. Mo also emphasizes that sometimes it's often overlooked that teachers themselves have funds of knowledge over lived experiences, emotions, and cultural backgrounds that shape how we understand academic concepts in early childhood settings like Head Start, for example. He argues that documenting both family and teacher funds of knowledge can strengthen relationships, enrich instruction, and help educators connect theory to practice. The big takeaway is that students and families are not lacking anything. They are rich in knowledge, and teachers can build more meaningful learning experiences by recognizing and using those strengths. The second is Sonia Nieto's Racism, Discrimination, and Expectation of Student Achievement. Sonia Nieto pushes us to look at how racism and discrimination operate within the school systems, not just through individual acts, but through institutional structures. She distinguishes between individual discrimination, which is one person acting on prejudice, and then institutional discrimination, which now comes with policies, practices, and expectations that systematically certain groups have disadvantages of. Examples can include ability tracking, funding, inequitable funding, a biased curriculum, and the persistent pattern of low expectations for students of color, multilingual learners, and students from low-income backgrounds. Nieto argues that students internalize the messages they receive about their worth and potential. When teachers hold low expectations, students often perform accordingly. But when teachers affirm students' identities and maintain high expectations, their achievement rises. Her case studies students like Linda, Rashad, and Vanessa, and how they show how racism shapes identity and opportunity, but also how supportive families and culturally responsive teachers can really make a powerful difference. Nieto calls for multicultural education that transforms schools, not just decorates them with diversity. This means confronting racism directly, affirming students' identities, and ensuring opportunities for all learners. And the third is the connection between culture and language learning. Culture and language are inseparable. Language is one of the most important cultural tools people use to communicate with each other, make meaningful, and participate in their communities. Students learn language through cultural participation, family routines, community interaction, storytelling, humor, and shared values. This means students' home languages are assets, not obstacles. Cultural identity shapes how students learn and use language. Language learners become more effective when connected to students' lived experiences. Ignoring culture makes language learning disconnected and less meaningful. For multilingual learners, honoring their culture and linguistic backgrounds is really, really important for academic success. And not just for that, also for their emotional well-being. Kind of bringing it all together, tying it all up. When we combine these three ideas, a powerful message emerges. Students thrive when their identities, their cultures, and experiences are recognized as strengths, not as weaknesses. Mo shows us that families and teachers bring rich knowledge that can transform learning. Nieto reminds us that racism and low expectations are systematic barriers that educators must actively challenge. And social cultural perspectives on language highlight that culture is not separate from learning. It is the content in which learning happens. Together, all these theories call on educators to create classrooms where every student feels seen, valued, and capable. When we honor students' funds of knowledge, confront discrimination, and connect learning to culture and language, we can build environments where all children can succeed. Thank you.